It's long been said that hypocrisy is the tribute that vice pays to virtue. I have to admit I'm enjoying listening to my Democrat colleagues suddenly discover the virtues of the rule of law after 4 years where they brazenly supported the most lawless Department of Justice and the most politically weaponized Department of Justice our nation has ever seen.
They're now preaching about judicial integrity? Let's rewind. When radical protesters showed up outside the homes of Supreme Court justices, threatening families, including Justice Amy Coney Barrett, not a single Democrat senator said a word.
And Joe Biden's attorney general didn't do a damn thing and refused to enforce the law to protect those judges. Why? Because he agreed with the violent protesters and he wanted to intimidate and threaten those judges.
And where was Joe Biden's attorney general? Nowhere.
Professor Bray, under our Constitution, who should decide elections, the voters or unelected judges?
The voters are the ones who should vote in the election according to the laws, and the laws sometimes have to be applied by the judges if there are cases.
And under our Constitution, who is charged with making policy decisions? Elected representatives elected by the people or unelected federal judges?
I think the question of policy, Senator, is a little broader than the particular case. So the laws should be enacted by Congress. That's where the fountain of law.
Policy decisions are the elected branches.
Right.
Law is the province of the court. Policy is the province of the elected branches. These are not complicated. Professor Bray, let me ask you this. Do the federal courts have power to issue remedies for people who are not parties to a case?
That's a question I agree is not complicated. They do not have that power.
Is the phrase nationwide injunction or universal injunction found anywhere in the Constitution?
It is not.
Here's where it gets dangerous. Today we're seeing federal courts issue nationwide injunctions, legal blocks that apply across the entire country, even affecting people who aren't part of a case. That kind of sweeping power, not in the Constitution.
First chart. In the first 150 years of our republic, how many nationwide injunctions were issued?
My view is that there were not any until 1963.
0. Now fast forward. How many nationwide injunctions were issued in the entire 20th century?
It's a small number. I would think it would be a dozen, give or take. It's not large.
27, actually. Excluding Trump's first term, how many nationwide injunctions were issued in the last 20 years?
Far more than that.
32. From 2001 to 2024 against Biden, Obama, and Bush, 32. And how many nationwide injunctions have been issued in the last 2 months alone?
There have been quite a few.
37. Let that sink in. There have been more nationwide injunctions in the past 2 months against President Trump than in the entire 20th century. There have been more nationwide injunctions against President Trump in the last 2 months than both terms of George W. Bush, both terms of Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's term.
Let's look at the numbers. From 2001 to 2024, against Bush, Obama, and Biden, 32. But in just 2 months of Trump's presidency, 37 nationwide injunctions. Let that sink in. More injunctions in 2 months than the entire 20th century? That's not judicial review. That's judicial tyranny. This is lawfare, an outright political assault using the justice system. Phase 1 was indicting Trump over and over to keep him off the ballot. That failed. Now, Phase 2, they're going judge hunting, finding any radical Obama or Biden appointee willing to block policies they don't like. We saw it recently with immigration law. A judge outright ignored federal law just to support Biden's open border agenda. No judicial review allowed? Doesn't matter. They found a judge who said yes anyway. Let's be blunt. The modern Democrat Party has aligned itself with radical, lawless ideas, often defending those who harm our communities. That's why their national approval rating is in the gutter. Nationwide injunctions are a gross abuse of judicial power. Judges aren't supposed to be policymakers. It's time this Senate steps up and reins in the activist judges who are trying to overturn elections. Not because of law, but because they didn't like how you voted. Thanks for watching, and remember, democracy means the people decide, not the courts.